we're in the office today, and Casey's looking around in my office, and she sees these pictures that I have, and these are legitimate pictures. This is one of the times that I met our Holy Father, John Paul II, Saint John Paul. Not just saint, but I guess John Paul the Great. How cool is that? Not enough to be a saint, but to be great. And this is Anthony the Not So Great. This was a rare occasion. I was privileged to meet him on a couple of occasions, and this was during the Ad Limina visit. And so as we're kind of approaching All Saints Day, I thought I'd talk about having met a couple of, bona fide saints of the church. Huge privilege to be with our area, which was the kind of the mid-Atlantic. And what they do is they compile these massive reports that are demographic reports about our particular area, our diocese. And they meet with the Holy Father, and they get to meet with him one-on-one. And that's a very rare occasion. And they're in his office, his study, and they meet with him one-on-one. John Paul II had on his desk a massive atlas, and asked Bishop Curlin to point out his diocese on the atlas, and so he pointed to North Carolina, and Pope John Paul II looked at it. He said, he said, Bible Belt. And I thought, now that is pretty cool. He could look at the North Carolina, at our Charlotte diocese, and said, Bible Belt. And so at the end of their very quick visit, I was standing outside the study with the other bishops, the bishops and their secretaries, some of their staff. Not everyone brings a secretary, but Bishop Curlin was very kind, and I was able to accompany him. So I'm standing there outside the Holy Father's office, his study, and the buzzer rings, and the door is thrown open, and the gentleman to His Holiness says that I am to go in. Now you have to understand that there were guys that had worked with their bishops for years, vicar generals, monsignors. They never were afforded this privilege. The door opens, and there's John Paul II with Bishop Curlin, and so you genuflect on the opposite knee when you're in front of the Holy Father. And I bent down and I said, I bring you the prayers and devotion of the people of the Diocese of Charlotte. But as I'm saying this, he looks at me and looks at Bishop Curlin and says, Secretus, which means secretary. That's what a secretary is, the keeper of the secrets. And so he says, yes. He said, this is Father Anthony. And as I'm kissing his ring and standing up, he said, Holy Father, you have to pray for Father Anthony's mother. She's sick with cancer, and it would be, if you could pray for her. He said, And with that, the Holy Father took his hands and he put his hands on my face and kind of held my face. He says, I will pray for her. And he made the sign of the cross on my forehead. And somebody said, what else happened? And I said, I have no recollection of what else was said. It was like a cannon, had gone off in the room. It was like, and he said, I will pray for your mother, and made the sign of the cross. And he's like, the Holy Father's like holding my much thinner face, I may add, much thinner face in his hands. And he's made the sign of the cross on my forehead. And I was like, gee, thanks. What do you say through my crying eyes? And so we had a couple of pictures. And so this is one of the pictures of us shaking hands. He gave me a rosary. I think he gave Mom a rosary. It's an amazing story. And she was very sick. And I attribute that to her.